I am getting ready to stream. Having some issues with the old networking computer. Doesn't want to net correctly. Need to push the make internet work button. Computer networking. So basically it's a kind of a weird thing, but I gotta download the most recent Lotro client. I run on sort of an admin client here. It's not letting me connect right. But let's see if this works. I just downloaded proper client for this computer again. Sam Burke, storm winds with speeds that yesterday broke Sweden's wind speed records. That sounds like a lot of wind. Hey, Zachariah over on YouTube. For some reason, this computer is nice and fast and it's really good, but for some reason this room is having some networking issues, which sucks because it's my stream room. It doesn't want to connect to the corporate network very well, which makes doing corporate network related things difficult. Suppose I should change the stream title. I'm really bad at that. I kind of wish, maybe you guys agree or disagree, I kind of wish that Twitch would just do away with the local stream title. It's just one more thing to remember. It doesn't update very well. Hey, Matt Mastar, Stefala. There we go. I'm back. I may well have to adjust. However, I may well have to adjust some audio settings. Hey, Eldolith, Sotius, Irurin. There we go. Back in Bree land, doing the Bree thing. Alright, looks like we're all pretty good. Hello and welcome to Court of the Rings, here on twitch.tv/LotraStream and youtube.com/LordOfTheRings/live. I am Lotra's community manager, Cordovan. Here on Landreval again, we're going to have the latest news, answer any questions from you that you choose to pose to me that I can answer. If I can't answer it, I'll just let you know that. Well, just kind of have some fun, talk a little bit about what we have going on in the future. Things like that. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Thanks for being here. I really do appreciate it. If you had the opportunity to check out some of Winter's stock last weekend, I want to give a shout out to Forte Maestro. He did an incredible job doing some live streaming, many hours of live streaming. I did about just a mere half hour or so myself on Friday, so if you want to get a little highlight of that, you can. You can find that both on Twitch and on YouTube. The archives are there. It looks like it was a really big event, a really popular event, once again, for the Lotro music community. Just one of the really cool things in Lord of the Rings Online here. So if you get an opportunity to check out things like Winter Stock, you should do it. If you missed it, you can catch a lot of the music and wax and that sort of thing without any issue. Hello from Russia. Yes, hello, hello. How are things in Russia? Verdoin says, I've not had a chance to hear the interview with MMO reporter. Any chance of a recap? You're asking me to remember what I said? What are you talking about? No, so a lot of it is frankly a little bit of a preview of the producer's letter, which is out, it's being wordsmithed as we speak, and then it's got to go out for localization. So I'm going to say probably end of next week before the producer's letter's out. I know that there were some folks on the Lotro forums who got real cranky about how could it take 2 weeks to write a producer's letter? Well, it didn't take 2 weeks to write a producer's letter. It took like an hour, 2 hours to write a producer's letter, and it just took 2 weeks for it to all go through the process. In the past, that's how it went too, except people just didn't tell you that they were working on it. I choose to be more forthcoming on that kind of thing. What are we working on? But it doesn't mean that we're devoting all day every day toward the thing, right? We got other priorities. That said, I understand you guys are really into wanting to know what's happening in 2017. Why? Because we haven't really told you a whole lot about what to expect when you know about... Well, actually, that's not true. Someone on the forums, I think it was Slippery, said about half the stuff you already know, and that's true. You know, Mordor and Update 20 and the 11th anniversary and all that. But the producer's letter is going to get a little more granular in terms of, say, maybe numbers of quests, you know, some of the specifics of content that you can expect. We don't get into a lot of detail as to the numbers for the expansion, just because it's really too early to even talk about that sort of thing. But yes, we do have a producer's letter in the works, and if you can't wait for that, listen to MMO Reporter, because we really basically recap a lot of the things that you're going to read in the producer's letter when that finally gets published publicly. But you know, honestly, I'm going to leave it up to someone else to summarize. When you do a lot of I've been doing a lot of interviews this week. I guess I did 4 this week between Lotro and DDO. So trying to remember what I said on one as opposed to another and all that sort of thing gets a little tricky sometimes. But I agree. It was a really nice interview that Chris did, and you can find that on MMO Reporter. It's on YouTube. They got their own page, Twitter, all that sort of thing. I think it's at MMO_reporter. We talked about SSG, you know, sort of how did this all come about. We talked about what's happening in DDO. We talked about what's happening in Lotro. It's about an hour-long interview where we really just kind of went through it all. So ended up being a little more comprehensive than I think even we were expecting it was going to be. So if you play any of our games, there's something for you in there. Alright, I am back on Landroval. Sorry, folks, I'm a weirdo when it comes to that sort of thing. Weird pronunciations are my bag. Hey, when you think come in 19.3, and I love when the Flowers files to account bound. 19.3 is set for early February, but we are going to have a preview on Bull Roar this weekend. Starts tomorrow afternoon, runs through Monday, I believe being shut off early on Tuesday morning, and that's going to have a preview of 19.3. Big bullet points of 19.3 is the ability to adjust your internal housing hook points. So you're going to be able to do a whole lot more customization there. You're going to be able to start to use the writs of the housing writs that you're getting right now if you sell or abandon Kin House. Premium house. It's also going to have new... Oops. Hey, come on. That's a little rude there, Duskwolf. Showing your rear end right to the center of the camera. What are you, some kind of cat? There we go. Anyway, where was I before I was so rudely interrupted by the hindquarters of a wolf? New chat channels. We're going to be adding 4 new chat channels, so you can have a total of 8 user chat channels. In addition, LFF and Trade are going to be global chat channels, no longer just regional things. We're also fixing the say bug, which I know some role players in that are very interested in. We're also increasing the distance that say will work from, I believe it's, now this is in-game measurements, but from 15 to 25 feet, so it's going to be a little bit larger in terms of when you can pick up the say. That'll be nice. I think there's a couple other things too. I'm actually, you know what, let me call up, I was just talking to Tiber. She sent me some notes for tomorrow's. She sent me some notes for tomorrow's. Alright. Interior housing decorations can now be moved around 10 meters along the X, Y, or Z axis. This is interior only. Initially, we had wanted to maybe do exterior as well, but we ran into an issue where, because of all the outside physics that goes on, it doesn't look right. you can cause too many problems that would make your neighbors annoyed. So it's internal only for now, but you are going to be able to do that. Large wall housing decorations will be able to be rotated around their vertical axes. In decoration mode, hook outlines are now color-coded by type, so that should be pretty nice. Chat channels, like I said, 4 additional user-defined chat channels added, 3 global channels, World, Trade, and LFF. Trade, LFF are now looking for fellowship, are now global channels accessible via -trade or /LFF. The advice regional chat channel has been removed. People weren't using it very much, and they were using it for things other than advice. We had to make room. Let's see. Premium houses can be purchased using premium housing writs. The say bug has been fixed. Range increased from 15 meters to 25. Use shout to double that range. Again, the files of extract for the Flora system will now be bound to account instead of character. And a couple other minor bugs as well, but we put in a couple of minor things to prevent people from inadvertently losing coin after they've hit their maximum possible coin capacity as well. We could talk a little bit more about that as we see it through the release notes. It's probably not worth going into here. Well, it's not that advice was used for bad things, so shut down. It's just that we had to make room for the global advice channel. We had to get rid of that and replace it with the LFF and trade. My understanding, I don't use the advice channel, so maybe I'm just completely ignorant here, was basically it was being used for a mix between LFF and trade. So now that we have global LFF and trade channels, we don't need the advice channel anymore. Let's see. Alright, so that sounds pretty good. Now, I don't even actually remember where I was. I'm into the woods, checking borders. That's what I am doing. Outriders, things like that. Collecting lore fragments. No, actually, maybe I should move away from this, though. Focus on the epic book some more, because I am 24, so I don't really need to do level 18 quests here. Defeat War Master Usurer. Remove this tracker. Struggle, remove tracker. And to tracker. There we go. Okay. Excuse me. So I actually need to head away from Bree, back over to the Weather Hills here. So perhaps I should go to the stable, see if I can find my way over to somewhere else. Okie-doke, let's take a little ride, shall we? That was the channel where people would get together and talk about the demise of Imladris. Okay. When will we fix Steam payments? Okay, so we are actively working to fix Steam payments right now. The issue we are having is that it's not... I mean, it's broken, but it's not technically broken. What's going on is, and this took a little while to kind of suss out, but what's going on is in Steam for both DDO and Lotro. We were under the publishing banner of Warner Brothers. We're going to be under the publishing banner of Daybreak, which is what we are actually, who's publishing our game right now. Steam's sort of business backend requires that be hooked up properly in order to take payments. So they're in the process, Valve is in the process of transferring Lotro and DDO's Steam games behind the scenes from Warner Brothers to Daybreak. The unfortunate reality of that, though, is that while that's happening, apparently people are not able to pay like they would like to. So it's not so much that Steam is broken as it is temporarily down while we work to hook up the proper sort of account things. Due to sort of the large nature of the corporate undertaking there, it was not necessarily communicated out to everybody that this was what was happening. Unfortunate reality of the business world sometimes. So, but it's something that we're working on. Should be fixed soon, and as soon as that's taken care of, everyone will be able to pay for things on Steam again. In the meantime, if you're really stuck, you may want to go to the Lotro market. You don't need to use the Steam wallet, although I know, obviously there are Steam players who very much would prefer to do that. But there are other options if you really find yourself stuck. You can launch the client outside of Steam, and you should be able to update, like say, update your VIP sub, that kind of thing if you need to. But hopefully this will be a non-issue soon. Because, yeah, you want to give us money. We want to stay in business. Mutually compatible goals, yes. When are we getting new Slayer and Deeds? I'm going to... I don't know if we have that in Update 20 or not. It's a good question. Sorry I don't have a good answer for you. If we have a lifetime account, will this still be honored by Daybreak? Yes, honored by us, Standing Stone Games and Daybreak. But yes, all the lifetime subs will continue to be honored basically for life. And that's in the FAQ. If for some reason maybe you haven't seen the FAQ, go ahead and take a look at that on the forums or website. You could read a little bit more about that. But yeah, lifetime subs, we're totally honoring that. When's beta going up? It should be tomorrow. I was told by Tiber the goal is to try to get it up by tomorrow afternoon. So that's likely. Wow. No. Okay. Will there ever be one language to rule them all so we could finally send our EU tunes to US and vice versa? I don't think the language is the barrier is the reason why that's not possible. My understanding is that the reason that's done is because we're looking at old Codemasters accounts, right? And that old Codemasters stuff is not compatible technology-wise with some of the server things. So it just doesn't work. It's a technical issue rather than, say, a language issue. Where am I going? Ah, not there. Good way around to... Okay, gotta make my way around to the west and south. Why new chat channels? I have a new ask that is a long problem. The Runekeeper have skills that have application delay from 2.5 to 5 seconds. Is that true? I'm not aware of that. I guess I haven't really... I would have expected, I guess, to hear more about that if that's true, but... I mean, I'm not saying you're lying or anything, I'm just saying, news to me. Oh, by language I meant C++, that kind of thing. That's interesting, I don't know. My guess is that it's a pretty significant technical hurdle, and that's why it hasn't been done. I mean, otherwise, you know, it's not like we don't want it to happen, it's not working, right? So... I think some skills just apply at the end of the animation. Okay, that would make sense. Take a dive. Wow! Swim like a dwarf. No, it's not. Probably not getting up there, am I? Alright, well, let me do this another way. Did I respond to your question? No, but let me do that. Are there any new instances coming with Update 20? Got a rundown here I'm calling up right now. We have 2 capstone resource dungeons, a new featured instance. I don't think that formally we have instances. We have new regions and all that sort of thing coming. So there's a lot of stuff in the works, but I didn't read specifically that we have a new instance coming. Any chance for exclusive costumes pre-order from the past may be able to buy them? No. Typically, when we do something like announce that this is an exclusive pre-purchase only bonus, available only for a limited time, we are kind of bound by that commitment. Not just because of European trade laws and things like that, but because ethically, if we're going to say, if you don't buy this, if you don't do this now, you ain't gonna get it. If all of a sudden we say, oh, just kidding, you know. People don't like that. So... kind of have to stick to that commitment. Even if unfortunately there are many cases where someone, you know, they joined the game after a thing came out, that sort of thing. You know, we understand that that's a bummer. But if we're going to do a pre-purchase exclusive like that, we're kind of going to stick to it. I wonder if I can get through here. Ah, no! I want through! Alright, fine. No. Okay, where the heck am I going? I am terrible at maps. In case you can't tell, yeah. I actually got lost in the mall yesterday. I haven't been to a mall in like 3 years. Seriously, I haven't been to a mall in like 3 years. I went yesterday because I needed a new pair of shoes. So I went to the mall, and it was one of those big monster malls that you see around here, where it's just like, we got all the stuff. There's many floors, parking, food, you name it. I'm sitting there trying to figure out how to find the specific game store that I want to go to, and I'm just like, where am I? How do I get there? Okay, I am totally lost here. I guess I better dismount, take care of these dudes. Regroup. So yes, maps are not my strong suit. Anyway, why new chat channels is really just mostly we've been hearing from folks over the years that they'd like to see them. We're cool with giving it to them. So, there we go. Alright, I'm guessing maybe I need to go in through Gondra. So let me try this again. Beardoin says, it was explained once by an engineer on a stream that while a character could be transferred, all the IDs that link to all their items and loot are different. It would be hard to fix. Yeah, that sounds right. This is a similar thing, frankly, with Dungeons & Dragons Online, where all that old Codemasters stuff has different item IDs than what we used at Turbine. So you can't just take one and give it to the other. So what would happen is you'd have things like item conflicts, you'd have incompatible items. There's just a lot of technical things where they use some different systems that they sort of did on their own that made it not compatible. Unfortunately. Okay, that's a dangerous place to be, I think. Here I am back here. Alright, that's fine. Try this again. There we go. Cool. When will Redline Guardian be updated? It's currently useless and boring compared to what it once was. All it does is self-heal. There needs to be a nerf to heals and increase to damage. Not enough to make it viable as a DPS in PvE, but to actually make it fun again. When someone tells me that something is now useless, I tend to consider that to be hyperbole. We have many Guardians in the game, many of them who are just perfectly happy with the way things are. Yes, we can make things better, but to say useless, does that mean not a single creature can be defeated in this game? You try to log in and none of the buttons work? I hate that word, useless. But, yes, we plan to continue to make the Guardian useful. Hopefully in a better way that will appease you. As far as the when, though, you guys are very, very much into us doing class updates. You know, it's something that we were aware that once we opened that Pandora's box, it was going to be a thing for a while. But I don't have a time frame as to when we're going to work on, say, Bjorn, Guardian, and all of the other classes that folks would like us to work on, unfortunately. I'm sorry. I know that, you know, Guardian is on the list along with others. Bjorn. So actually, you know, that without opening up another Pandora's box here, it's interesting that I am experiencing a bit of a dichotomy in the Bjorn. When you ask, say, the forums, when you look on the forums, things like that, I am often see that phrase useless used in regard to Bjorning as well. How Bjorning is totally useless, nobody wants him in the group. Well, when I was doing an interview recently, someone was like, don't listen to them. They're wrong. Bjorning is OP. I was like, well, how can something be both OP and completely useless? Explain that one to me. So if Bjorning is both OP and useless, what kind of feedback are you supposed to take from that? Nerf them, but make them better! Overall, I think the volume of people saying the Bjorning needs is too weak probably outweighs the folks who are telling me it's too strong. But having not played a Bjorning myself, it's kind of hard to judge. Why must have the minstrel so many morale and didn't need tactical mastery for healing? Sorry, I don't know about that one. Release date for update 20, too early to get into release dates for update 20 here. I think we're tentatively looking at somewhere maybe March-ish. And that's really about as much as I want to commit at this point. This looks good. I think this is the stuff I'm looking for. Alright. Nice. It's true. I'm not, like I say, I'm not very good on math. What will 10-year players get besides the new character frame? We don't want to give that one out yet. Wouldn't be much of a birthday present if we told you what it's going to be. But it's going to be similar in scope to what we've done for other anniversaries. So, in addition, you know, we were pulling out the stops for the 10th anniversary event as well. So we got some kind of biggies going on. But yes. We also have kind of an anniversary event that's going to be really the centerpiece of the celebration there. Kind of an in-game event that people are going to be able to do. Did you hear me right that in 19.3, Flora will become account-bound? Yes. Have I ever been to Rivendell? Not yet. It's on my list. I'm sure I will get there soon. How about a larger friends list? Ever since the server merge, we've been asking for that. I mean, I can pass that along again. I haven't heard of any plans to increase the friends list. I think the biggest concern there is usually data bloat. Every time you load in a character, it's got to load all this data, so if you have too large a friends list, it can cause some problems when you also sort of add it to the total list of things that need to be loaded. But it seems like something we might be able to do. I don't know, I'd have to talk to an engineer about why perhaps that hasn't been done yet. We could finally silence World Chat. Let's have the update tonight. Are we satisfied with getting rid of all the Turbine WB references? Well, I mean, it's an ongoing process. Oh, we still have more work to do on it. But when we come across the stuff we are going to, will we change the internal drive there for, or the internal folder for Lotro, will we change out the turbine launcher.exe? Yeah, we're going to have to do that. It's not exactly been on a high priority list, but yeah. I'm going to have to. Will fishing ever be given a new extension, more levels than 200 plus? I have not heard of plans to expand fishing, but I certainly know it is one of our more popular sort of activities like that, so it's possible. Will Warden get an in-combat res skill anytime soon? No plans for that. The general point to read Bjorning is that it does poorly in groups at endgame. Yes. I don't disagree that is, a lot of the feedback. I would point out, however, just to play devil's advocate, that if the statement is, quote, Bjornings are useless, meaning they will never have any use whatsoever in this game, then that is different from they are not as competitive in endgame, say, Tier 2 rating groups as other things. So, kind of goes back to giving us good feedback. Bothers me a lot when people are just like, this thing is useless. Blah. It's like, it's not useless. at? I bet you're up there, huh? Alright. The dichotomy regarding Bjornings is probably due to most people not knowing how the class works. That's funny. Bjorning does well on the moors, okay. Bjorning is fine, but it has no block, it takes a lot of damage, and its in-combat res is bugged. I know, yes, I know for a fact that one of the key issues with Bjorning that we're well aware of is that there are still some pretty long-term outstanding bugs that we really need to crush. And that'll go a long way, I think, to improving the Bjorning. But we do have, I think, some balance work as well. Why does our year mark only renew with Lotro's year mark? I believe it's usually because there's some code versioning work that needs to be done, and we do that work once a year, typically around the anniversary. Lotro themed kilt? Yeah. Will we ever get into a kinship alliance system? I don't know of any plans to do that, sorry. Never say never, though, but it's definitely not on our agenda. Exogenesis, I love it. It just doesn't have the same weight. Useless. To cry, admittedly they are fine, but just don't get to be invited. Right. Word. Alright, now heading over to YouTube chat. So basically, the idea of a kinship alliance would be to have multiple guild or kins be able to join together, not for the purposes of, say, officership and things like that, but to communicate largely. And a lot of that could be done with current user chat channels. Just reading a little bit about Bjorning. Kind of a conversation about optimal grouping and efficiency and all the rest. And it's like, I can appreciate sort of that power gamer perspective, you know, that it's like, if X is +1 better than Y, then only do X, never do Y, and Y is useless. But I don't think that that really falls in line with the majority of the Lotor community. I apologize. That's my experience.
How can I be of service? What do you need?
Oh. Another full bag. Alright.
What can I do for you?
Okay, so now I'm going over to Withertop. Doing that climb. So it looks like I go around and around. Okay. Yeah, Gussie, it's nice to see you stream. I know you've been doing the book club. Why don't you, if you don't mind, talk a little bit in chat about how that book club thing's been going? It seems like it's been going pretty good. I've been hearing positive comments throughout, say, social media, that sort of thing, talking about how awesome it is that 2017 is sort of the year of book clubs for Lord of the Rings Online, and I think that's awesome. We did, oh, by the way, we did hear your feedback on the Scholars Hall. It was created and then placed. And some of you folks, even though, say, you know, Bree has ruins and that sort of thing, some people feel, particularly because of the spikes on it, or not the spikes, but the whatever you call them, that it's a little out of place. So I think what we're going to do is largely get rid of the exterior there and replace it with a more Bree-like facade. I don't know when that's going to happen. My guess is update 20, but we'll see. No, I appreciate. I'm sorry, your name isn't quite showing up for me. It's Katabo, something like that. Bulgaria. It's Bulgarian, Eastern European, Cyrillic text, which I'm not very good at. Sorry. Reading. Hey, I remember you guys from a couple weeks ago. A rune-covered rock sure seems interesting. That weren't there before. Yes, we do have a Yule Festival encore in February. Some folks were like, what? Why are you doing that? Mostly just because people want us to. We heard some comments from folks who were like, hey, can you... I missed it! Oh my god, I have things going on. Can you please bring it back for just like a little bit? Yes, we will be. It's on the event schedule and you can read about that on the Lotro forums. Man, I am pretty terrible when it comes to treating my horsey and legs of my guys in Lotro poorly. It's been great. Gussie says, read the book club. It's neat having the community come together and enjoy reading together. We learn a lot, ideas as to why things happen and such. Being new to the story, every page seems to be something new. And then we take our characters in-game to the places and people and things we read about. How cool, right? How cool.
How can I be of service?
Ah, interesting. Maybe I'm at the point that I should take a pause here, and next week I can fellowship up to retake Weathertop. I've not really done a whole lot of that. So maybe we'll take a pause on that and do that next week for Book 2, Chapter 5. That means if you are able to fellowship up with me for next week's show, that'll be next Thursday at noon, I'll try to get on around, say, 11:30 Eastern Time to see about getting that group together and all that sort of thing, and we will do that. Can we burn a snowman at the Yule Festival Encore? That's a great idea. I love it. Stanyo is the non-Cyrillic version of it. That's great, great. Thank you. Man, I would love to get to, like, Europe Just spend 6 months just burning things. You can't burn snow? Oh, come on, that seems like a challenge to me. Can't you sort of... It's pretty funny. You boil it up. It's sort of like burning it. Yeah. Alright, I think that's going to do it here then, with Court of the Rings here on twitch.tv/LotraStream and youtube.com/LordOfTheRings/live. Like I said, we got Bull going up, we got the producers letter going on, we have a event schedule that got updated over the past, I guess it was last week here, so you can go take a look about that on the Lotra forums if you're interested. Those are really the big 3 bullet points. We do have a really good interview right now with MMO Reporter, and you can find a link to that on our social media and such. We also, I'm trying to remember all my interviews here. We have an interview today with Massively OP, so I'm sure that that's going to be coming down the road pretty soon. And I think the other two were DDO mostly. And there's a little article in the Boston Globe about us too, if you're curious. So, what is Bull for 19.3 or 2X? It'll be for 19.3. There's even a song called Don't Eat the Yellow Snow. Yes, I'm well aware of Frank Zappa. I am a big Frank Zappa fan. Great googly moogly. Yep. Alright. Thanks for joining me. Hope you have a great lunch. Hope you have a great day. Hope you're having fun in Lotro. Thank you for being a part of the community, and talk to you again soon. Have fun.